Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, Samson. How are you?
Fine, sir. How are you feeling, sir?
Yeah, I feel
Good,
great.
boss.
Yeah, good evening. So once it's 8:10, we'll start. We have a lot to cover, so we don't have much time to wait longer. So once it's 8:10, we start. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Please do confirm you can hear me. All right. So, how's your day been? And I think we have many people. Hmm. These numbers it's encouraging. It's encouraging at all. It's not giving me the eyes what. Nevertheless, we'll push on. So, okay, Lainka,
Okay, sir. Good evening, sir.
good evening.
First, I would love to apologize for not being available yesterday class. My network was fluctuating. So I have a question even before I saw the remark you made on my class, my assignment. So
Okay.
the first thing there is this. I don't know how to upload the paper sketch to the Figma account. The one I did with my paper sketch here is with me here. I don't know how to upload it to the Figma. And I asked, no response. That's the first
No,
question.
you asked and nobody responded.
Yes.
Wow. The class rep, what's happening? Is it that you not see his message or what?
I responded though. I responded though.
Okay.
Oh, so probably even I skipped that part then because I was really waiting for the reply. Okay, then the second question is you said my alignments and aren't um they're not equal or they're not equal. Yes. If you remember when you were doing your own um correction,
Mm,
your own when you're doing your own design in class, it was
yes.
giving us one red lining to shade the
Yes.
discount. Mine was not doing
Yes.
that at all.
And that's because he didn't prompt it.
I have to first prompt it.
Ah, it's what you have, it will just appear. It's what you press that will come out.
Okay, that's one.
I
Then
think someone had the same challenge and the person reached out to me. I had to tell the person the same thing. So and the person got it right.
okay, probably you can kindly explain.
All right.
Then
Continue with your question.
the third question is how do I know the titles of those icons to be used? Like, is there a general? You give us. You said there are always 40. You said even numbers are for iPhones. You gave us
Yes,
the direct number. So I want to know that does our icon to have the number they have to be so we can know how it works. That's all, sir.
yes, just like I said that there are guidelines. So we have for Android, we have the material design guidelines. For iOS, we have the human centered design guidelines. Do you understand? So these are the guidelines for these two devices. So I said for Android, we use multiple of 4 and 8, that is even numbers. So when you want to use your spacing, use the spacing, okay, the spacing should be +4 +8, just multiple of 4 and 8. Do you understand? So if you notice that while I was designing, you see something like the left and the right, this thing, they are 24. The margin to the left and right, they are 24. That's even numbers. Do you understand? So if you notice that the spacing between the form feeds, okay, let me just show you. Can you see my screen clearly? All right. So if you notice that for my text here, I'm using 16. I use 16 here. I use 12. These are even numbers. If you look at the spacing between this, my header, and my subtext, is what? Is 4. The space is 4. Should I stand? So those are the guidelines I'm using. And though iOS, uses odd numbers, but there's something called the native iOS. That's the using mixing the using both guidelines together. So we use Android guidelines and the iOS guidelines. So we use the even numbers of Android. Just when we are designing native iOS. So we use icons. Some icons, you see some icons in for that we use in Android. We use it in on while designing for iOS too, like this one now. That's because anytime you see something like any element used for Android on iOS, just know that that iOS is what is a native iOS. Do you understand? And that's the what most of us are using now. Do you understand? So if you look at this, my spacing here, let me put it together. You see that it's 8. Do you understand? So like that, like that. If you check my icon now, this invisible icon now is 16. Do you understand? So if I want to increase it, I'll just increase it. Maybe I'll +2, +4, +8. Do you understand? Are we together? So that's just it. So for the red line that we're talking about, all you just need to do is to just press your Alt key if you are using Windows. Once you press the Alt key, just drag your cursor to the left or wherever you want to check for the alignment. Can you see it now? So I can see that my text is 24 to the left, 163 to the top, and 205 to the right. Do you understand? If I want to see the dimension to the frame, I'll just say, okay, I'll just drag it to the frame. It's showing me 24. Do you understand? So that's it. Adewale, you reached your end.
All right, sir. Thank you. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
So I also have problem with those line because I wasn't seeing it. It's only when I leave the Figma space that's when, and I come back into it. That's when I normally get those spacing for guidelines. And the
Okay.
other thing is, during the linking, I can only link my login screen and my sign up screen. The mid-file screen, I don't know, for some reason it's always blank. It doesn't show me what I have on the first frame. So it's only the login and the sign up that usually shows. I don't know if you understand.
I'm trying to understand your point. So you said for this mid-file here,
Yes, sir.
why prototyping is you're not seeing the screen.
No, like the first page now, the one that you titled as splash screen.
Yes, splash screen.
Yeah, the splash screen. I don't see it when prototyping exactly. It's only the mid-file. Oh, sorry, it's only the mid-file login screen and then the sign up screen that usually turn up. If the splash screen would turn up, it's going to be blank because what I have on the splash screen
Oh,
is
oh, oh.
is a
So
die
definitely,
fabrical
so
logo.
so
Yeah.
it means that if you check your look, if I click on my this screen now, this splash screen now, you now click on the element. Check if the element is inside this parent frame. If you look at layer panel, the left panel, check if this element is seeing it. Because if it's not seeing it, it will not show. If you use your Figma mirror too, it will not show your Figma mirror. That is why it's always good to use your Figma mirror while designing. So you'll be able to know that this element is inside the frame.
Oh, okay. So I clicked on it now. It's showing me that is inside. I mean,
It's showing that it's inside, like underneath like this. You know, this is the parent frame. This is my element here.
yes, sir.
It's showing the same thing.
Yes, sir.
Then probably you've turned off the stuff. Probably you've turned it off
Okay.
somewhere, somehow. But we can just check that later, Sha. Probably you've turned it off. Probably you've clicked on maybe appearance, or you've um, click reduce the opacity, or you've turned it off on your layer panel. Something is wrong somewhere. All right. Hello, Michael, your end is still reached. And Alayinka, okay. Alayinka, you have the floor.
Okay, sir. You made correction. You said your CTA button should be obvious and stand out in your design. Explain better, sir. Like, what do you mean in that aspect?
I've explained in the class that
Okay, okay.
Look at this, if looking at the screen, you'll see that something is standing out here, which is the CTA button carrying the white background. It's well elevated on the design. So your major action button should be well seen. I will explain this when I was explaining the laws of UX. You understand? So it's very important that your major action button should be seen, not that it will rhyme with other elements, or your user will be confused that which one is the action button. I'll start looking for the action button. But me looking at this design, I already know that okay, this is my login button. Do you understand? So the first thing I'll first my eyes will go to is that something is white here. Is the login. Do you understand? Lainka, your hand is still raised.
Oh, that's the mistake, sir. Sorry.
All right. So let's go to this class, because we have a lot to cover tonight, and it's really getting hotter. And from this moment onward, you'll be finding yourself in a lot of hot seats, because you'll be juggling your personal projects, assignments, assessment, and the likes together. So now you need to put in the work. Is the time for holiday is over, the time to now we are laying our hands on practical. So the time of extend the date, extend the time, not like that again. Once you are given a work, and I understand your personal work and everything, so you have to do everything together. Just create the time based on priority and do the needful. You understand? So I just said I should just inform you that moving on, it's work and work and work. You understand? All right. Lainka, you have the floor.
I'm so sorry, sir, to bring you back. You said I should press Alt to get the alignment. I'm pressing Alt and it's duplicating the stuff.
That's because while pressing the Alt, you were dragging it. You were dragging it with you. I did not say you should drag. I just say over. Just over your mouse. Like drag your cursor, like just over your mouse. Don't drag. Don't hold your don't right click or anything. Just over your mouse.
Okay, I've seen it.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So shall we start proper? All right. So please do it to inform the class that the class has started. Inform them as class that this class has started. And if you miss out from this moment, Yoruba will say only who. Well, your class rep are there and others are there, they'll help you out. So in today's class, I'll be looking at quickly at two major things. I will delve into practicals, and if time permits us, we'll look at I will be looking at designing a web, a simple web listing. So So let's look at designing with components. Designing with components. So looking at the UI kits and libraries, creating reusable components, buttons, forms, modals, and more. And also we'll be looking at accessibility in user interface design, that is color contrast. I think it was something or that asked about contrast on Thursday, I think yesterday. I don't know if something or Azunobi, and we'll be looking at inclusive design practices and tools for accessibility testing. Should understand. So let's look at creating UIs, designing with components. So designing with components, it's at the heart of what? Of a modern UI design. So if you want, as a product designer, working in a fast-paced environment, in an agile methodology environment, so there's a need for you to know how to create components and use components. Do you understand? So designing with components is at the heart of modern UI design. It helps designer maintain consistency, efficiency, and scalability across the product. Do you understand? So if you want to maintain consistency, efficiency, you need to know how to use and create components. Do you understand? So by learning how to use UI kits, libraries, and reusable components, we tend to build interface that feel unified and professional while speeding up our workflow. You understand? So it's always good when we know how to do all these things, so that it can speed up our workflow. So let's look at UI kits and libraries. So what is a UI kit? A UI kit is a collection of pre-designed elements such as buttons, icons, cards, input fields, navigation bar, and typography styles that serves as building blocks for your design project. What am I trying to say? That these are elements, these are templates that you can use as a building blocks for your design project. You understand? So it's like a starter pack that saves times and keeps your design language consistent. So it's like a starter pack. So UI kits are things just like I showed you in maybe 2 classes ago, something like this. This is a UI kit for iOS. Do you understand? This is a Facebook UI kit. I believe many of you have accessed this file. Do you understand? This is an example of a UI kit whereby you can just, for a starter pack, you can just fetch anything from status bar to icons, so anything that has to do with iOS. Do you understand? We have the Android UI kit too, if you want to design for Android. So this is an example of a UI kit. You can see that has been created already. You can just look for it and choose and fire on. Do you understand? So we have what we call the design library. A design library is an organized shared collection of components, styles, and assets, usually built in a tool. Do you understand? So like Figma now, Figma has a design library. Let me, if I should show this is a design library here. We have our design library here. So this is where you find every component you've created, all the styles. Do you understand? So we have the typography and everything. So that's what we call design library. So there are assets usually built in Figma or Adobe XD. Since we are using Figma, we are focused on Figma. So the teams can use across multiple projects. Do you understand? So it acts as the single source of truth for all design elements in a company or brand. So that's what we call design library. So it's there you find your components, your styles, and every shared collection of your component styles and what and assets. So the benefit of a UI kit and library is that number one is speed. So no need to design from scratch every time. Just like I said, if I want to fetch a status bar, instead of me to start designing a status bar, I'll just go to the Facebook UI kit, fetch the status bar, paste it, and adjust it to my taste. Do you understand? So the time I will use to create a status bar, I've saved that one. Do you understand? So it grants me speed. It grants every designer speed while designing. You understand? Another one is consistency. You understand? All elements share the same look and feel. You understand? All elements share the same look and feel because you've created a reusable component, so you can fetch it across your project. So it maintains what it gives you consistency. You understand? Another one is collaboration. Teams can reuse and update components easily. So if you want to collaborate with other designer now, the other designer doesn't need to start creating or looking for icons or buttons, because one has already created a component or what we call design system. So it is saved in the library. So if I'm coming to work on your project, or you come and work on your project or help you on a project, all I just need to do is to go to the library of the file that we are working on and fetch whatever components I want to use. So collaboration is one of the benefits of UI kits and libraries. Just like I can go to that file I just showed you now. It has been created by someone. I just go there, collaboration wise, fetch it and just use it. You understand? And last one is scalability. You understand? Design system grow with the product over time. It grows with the product over time. You understand? So example are the Google's material design, a comprehensive library used for Android and web. Just like I've mentioned earlier, you can just go there. Probably after the class, I will drop a link whereby you can just go and learn about the guidelines to Apple Human Interface guidelines for iOS and Google material design for Android. Do you understand? We have other guidelines too. Do you understand? So we have the Apple Human Interface guidelines for iOS and macOS design. We have the Ant Design and Booster, popular for web dashboard. For those that it is for, if you want to design dashboard, this one is there too. We have the Figma Community UI Kit. If you go to home, while we are getting familiar with Figma, I showed you how to explore things via the community. You understand? There are a lot of UI kits on the Figma space. You understand? So let's go to creating usable components. What is a component? I've explained this in I think 2 classes ago. So a component is a modular design element that can be reused across different parts of a design or an interface or a project. Do you understand? So an example is a button. You understand? Before you start designing, you create a design system. You understand? You create a button as a component. After creating the button as a component, then you reuse it across your screens. You don't need to get to another screen and start crafting out or drawing rectangles or frames or doing auto layout. All you just need to do is drag it from your library, input it, and you are good to go. Do you understand? A card component is used for various product listing. So you can create components. You can create a card as a component. So you don't need to start creating it in another screen. You understand? Or a navigation bar that appears consistently across screen. So probably you want to use the back navigation bar across multiple screens. All you just need to do that. Okay, this icon, let me create it as a component. So you just fetch it like that. Just to hasten up your for efficiency while working. So the structure of the component. So each component usually has a base style, we are talking about style, a base style, we are talking about the visual design that is carrying a color, either color blue, color red, color green, you understand, a shape and typography. These are the base style of the component. So every component should carry a what, a base style. You understand? We have the variant, that is different states, that is the over state, the active state, and the disabled state. When we are talking about buttons now, you understand? The active state, the over state when it's been overed on, and the disabled state. Then we have properties like adjustable elements like the text, the icons, or the sizes. Do you understand? Are we together? All right, thank you. So why do we use reusable component? Why does reusable component matters? Number one, efficiency. Designer focus on user experience instead of redrawing elements. Do you understand? So consistency, users recognize and trust repeated patterns. Do you understand? So they are not two different things. In one of the assignments someone submitted, I realized that there were inconsistency in what? In just 3 screens. So what if you now have like 24, or when you are designing 24 screens, you are designing over 30 screens. Do you understand? So there needs to be consistent. There needs to be consistency in your design, because once user interacts with 1 or 2 screens from the beginning, they assume that it must be the same throughout their journey in achieving their goal using your product. Do you understand? So you have to what? It's for maintainability too. So updating one component updates all its instances. So once you update, let's say that you notice that over the design, you want to change the major button, the button to blue. All you just need to do is to go to the parent component, change it to blue, and everything changes to blue across your design. So it's maintainability. Another one is collaboration. Developers and designers work from a unified structure. So example of common reusable components, we have the button, we have the default state, the over state, the active state, the disabled state. Do you understand? We have the input field, we have the focused state, the error state, the disabled state. We have the modals. Do you understand? Okay, we'll get to know about all this as we move on. We are familiar with buttons. We are familiar with input feed via the design we did earlier. We have the nav bar. The nav bar are the bottom bar on your mobile screens, where you have the home, the favorites. Can anyone relate? Can anyone relate? Or your web, where you have the home, the contact page, the about us, those are your notes, nav bar, your navigation bar. Do you understand? It has the active state and the lighting state. So we have the form section, wherever we have the progress or validation state. Do you understand? Well, okay, one is okay, success, and the likes. So these are the common examples of reusable components. So let's look at modals and pop-ups. Do you understand? Modals focus on attention on important tasks or messages. Do you understand? So they appear above the main content. So when we are talking about modals, we are talking about a kind of a page showing on top of a page. Do you understand? So when we have a page, we are showing another point. Maybe you click a submit button, then something pop up saying your XYZ has been submitted. Go back to home. Has anyone ever seen something like that? That's what we call a modal. Do you understand? So we have modal on the web and we have modal or mobile. So as we journey into this thing, we'll see the different state of modals too. So the best practice of modals is that you keep them short and focused, include a clear close or cancel option, avoid overuse. Too many modals can frustrate users. That's just the basic truth. Too many modals can frustrate users. You understand? So you make sure that you don't use plenty of modals in your design. I could remember I was designing a website like that, and it has a lot of modals. So later on, and realized that customers were dropping off. You understand? So we had to what? Go back to the drawing board and look at, okay, so we realize that there's some kind of drop off. So we had to go back to drawing board to look at why are they dropping off. So we realized that it's due to the modals. So we just had to what? Convert the modals to pages so that the backend could trace where customers are having issues exactly or having drop off. So overuse, you have to avoid overuse of modals. To understand? So you just use it when necessary. So other common UI components, we have the navigation, that is the tabs, sidebars, breadcrumbs. We have the data display showing tables, cards, lists. You understand? That's why we have the tables, the cards, and the list. We have the feedback, the toast buttons, alert, progress bars. We have the media, where we have the avatars, the icons, and images. So basically, designing with components isn't just about saving time. Sincerely, it isn't just about saving time, but it's about building systems that scale that stays consistent and keep your user experience seamless. Do you understand? So do you all get that? Are we together? Okay. So quickly, let's just quickly touch on accessibility in UI before we go into practicals, creating components, and the likes. So accessibility in UI design, we've talked about accessibility in UX. So let's talk about accessibility in user interface design. So accessibility in UI means designing digital products that everyone can use. Including people with disabilities such as visuals, auditory, motor, or cognitive impairment. So, like I said, while we're explaining accessibility in UX, I said that accessibility is not about designing for disabled people. It's not about designing for disabled people, but designing for everyone. So when we are talking about accessibility, don't see it as if, okay, I want to design for disabled or people with limitations or problem. No, accessibility is designing a product that everyone is involved, everyone can use. That's what we call accessibility. So an accessible interface ensures that no one is excluded from using your products. It's not just good design, it's ethical, inclusive, and often legally required. If you go to the what's it called, developed countries, you notice that every product used there is they have accessibility in mind while building it, because if a certain set of people can use it, they can query your product, they can sue your product. Do you find that funny? Or have you experienced such thing before? Okay, I can see someone giving a thumbs up. So that person can relate. So it's just probably we are yet to get there, yeah, but in other countries, if you are designing products and it's not accessible to a certain set of people, they can flag your product. So accessibility is very key. It's very key in product design. So number one is what? Color contrast and legibility. Color contrast and legibility. What is color contrast? Color contrast is difference in brightness and the hue between text and what its background. Do you understand? I made a certain correction. Oh, thank you, something. So that's definitely correct. That's definitely correct. So I made a kind of correction in one of the assignments that the button is not what you need to add contrast to it. You understand? So yeah, all right. So that's just it about accessibility in UI design. So you have to use enough contrast. It determines how easy it is for users, especially those with low vision or color blindness, to see and read content clearly. Like someone like me now, most of my apps are in dark theme because the lighting brought into my this night affects my sight. So now look at it. Now look at it that there's nothing like a dark theme. So it will just keep affecting my eyes, and I won't be able to use a lot of applications. Do you understand? In fact, if I use an application, I want to use an application and doesn't have a dark mode, I won't even use it. Do you understand? I won't even use it. So that's just the reality. So why does accessibility matters? It improves why does color contrast and legibility matters? It improves readability for everyone, ensures users can perceive important information. Do you understand? Like buttons, alerts, and links meet what the WCAG, which is the acronym for Web Content Accessibility Guidelines. Do you understand? So there's a requirement for it. Do you understand? Just like something as what? Just like Samson mentioned, you understand? So there are requirements, there are guidelines to all this. So the best practice for color contrast is what? Avoid using light gray text on white or low contrast pastel combinations. Do you understand? You can't use, now imagine like on this kind of this slide now, I'm not using a light or a gray text color. How do I expect you to read? How do I myself? I can't read it. Even if I can read it, since I'm not designing for myself, I have to consider others. That is where empathy comes in, and that is why accessibility comes into play. Do you understand? So test both light and dark modes for sufficient what? Contrast. Do you understand? Don't rely on color alone to show meaning. Use icons, labels, or patterns. Do you understand? Maintain contrast between interactive elements and backgrounds. So you can use, there are some basic tools like contrast, checkers, colorable, or stack. I think stack is a plugin on Figma to test color combinations instantly. So let's go to inclusive design practices. When we are talking about inclusive design is a mindset and process that ensures product work for people of all backgrounds. You understand? All backgrounds, abilities, and circumstances. That's what we call when we are designing for inclusivity. You understand? So inclusive design is a mindset and process that ensures product works for people of all backgrounds, abilities, and circumstances. So it focuses on diversity and empathy, and also flexibility, rather than one size fits all solution. Rather than one size fits all solution. So you have to consider put into consideration diversity, flexibility. Do you understand? So the principles of inclusive design is that provide choices, allow users multiple ways to what? To complete a task. So you give them options to complete a task, e.g., voice input, keyboard navigations. You understand? Consider context, that is, user may have temporary disabilities, e.g., maybe a broken arm or a poor lighting. Do you understand? So I could remember, I think years back, I went to what's it called? An hospital. Do you understand? And using the staircase was L. It was L. And I was like, when you realize this, why can't you just use a lift? Why don't you just provide a lift? So definitely they didn't consider those that don't have strength or someone on a wheelchair or something like that. So someone in a wheelchair, they will have to carry the person on the wheelchair together. So that's why I said in maybe probably in the introductory class that UX is not for you designing digital product alone. Do you understand? Or design thinking is not about design this thing alone. It's about putting your design thinking in everything you do. Putting design thinking in everything you do. That is empathy in everything you do. So you want to do this, look at would this be okay for user A, user B, user D? Do you understand? So that's that. So you prioritize clarity, use simple language and consistent UI patterns. So when you're designing products, you don't blow grammars. Do you understand? Don't go and use heavy language and say you want to show off. No, use simple labels, simple language that people will relate to, that we cut across, that people, even the market woman can use it. Do you understand? Not a market woman will just come on your lap or use your product and still be asking, what is this? Do you understand? So you have to use simple language or simple labels that is clear enough that all users can read and understand. So building products is not about showing off your what's it called? Your English, you understand, or your words. Because if they don't understand your labels, let's take for instance a website, and I go to a website and I'm seeing a lot of Latin this thing or big grammars. I was like, okay, this is not what I'm looking for. Let me go to another website. Whereas that is the website that is the solution to my problem I'm looking for. But because I did not get the copy, do you understand? That is why in product design, we do, as much as if the company or the organization or the whoever is giving the project did not hire a copywriter or a content writer, just so that you as a product designer, oftentimes we are always the one writing the copy. So you have to bring on your copywriting skill on board while designing products. Do you understand? So you can see that there's a lot of work for product designers. So if you find yourself that there's no this thing, I'm sure you cannot leave the copy empty or use Lorem Ipsum or just put it there. So you just have to put in the right copy. And the right copy, I mean the copy that the content that people will understand while using your products. So you design for all devices, you understand? So example of inclusive design, you adding caption or subtitle for videos, providing alternative text for images, using clear descriptive button labels like submit form instead of click here. You understand? This is very important too. It's very important too. So after people fill their form, and your major button is here saying click here. Click here. What's click here doing here? Do you understand? So it is not right. Let them know that they want to submit a button so that they can know what the action they are performing. So you have to use a clear labels. Do you understand? You designing touch targets. they should be large enough for users with what motor challenges. Do you understand? So people that they can't really notice small buttons. So that's why you have to make your buttons as large as possible. I think I did one of the assignments I reviewed. Maybe one or two made such mistake. You understand? Making the button not very small like that. So supporting both left-handed and right-handed navigation. So lastly, common accessibility barriers. So visuals, low contrast text. So the solution is use WCAG contrast ratio. You understand? Hearing barrier, probably no video caption. The solution is what? Just add subtitles. So if they can't hear, they can read. You understand? So for motor barrier, maybe small clickable areas, you'll use what? Larger buttons. For cognitive barriers, complex language, like I've explained earlier, just simplify the English. The English is not for you. You're not the one using the product. When you want to speak with the elite or someone of your distinct, you can speak it and let them, you can flow together. Do you understand? But for your product, simplify the language clearly and use icons. Do you understand? So we have tools for accessibility testing where you want to test your products for accessibility sake. So we have the color and contrast tool, Stack. We have the contrast checker. We have the Adobe Color Accessibility for screen reading testing. We have the NVDA for Windows. That's for Windows. We have the VoiceOver for Mac users. And we have the JAWS. Do you understand? JAWS for Windows too. So for automated accessibility testing, we have the Wave and the Lights and so on. So basically, accessibility design is a good design. You understand? It's a universal testing. It's a requirement that you need to understand. So it benefits everyone, not just a certain set of people, not just people with disabilities. And also, it's accessibility design. It creates more usable, inclusive experience for all, and that's the goal of what? Of every product designer. So are we good to go? All right. So now we're moving into the practical aspect. Let's create a component. Let's create a component. Now pay attention. Pay attention. It's very important to pay attention. Well, the video is recorded, so you can go back to it. You can always go back to it. All right, so let's say let's create a button. Let's create a button. First and foremost, for our auto layer, let's put in our text. What button should we create? Let's say submit. Submit. So we put in the auto layout, Shift A. Shift A. We add our fill color. All right, our fill color. Our fill color, let me give it a corner radius of 8. I'm smoothing my corner radius. Then give it 72. No, 72 here. Let me increase this to 16. Yeah, so I think I'm good to go with my button color. I think this one is semi-bold now, but I prefer medium, and let me use DM Sans as my font. Let me use my text 16. All right. So I have my button here now. Well selected. Let me rename it to button. I'll rename my button to. So now you come here. You see create components. Come to your properties panel. You see create components. Create what? Create component. So can you see the create component? All right, thank you. So you click on what? Create component. That has been created. That has been created. So now we know we talked about different states of buttons. We have the active state, the disabled state, the over state. Do you understand? So like this now, we have created a component. If you go to let me go to my library, to my file here. Let me go to my asset here. If I go to my asset here, it's there already. Can you see it? Can you see that it's there? So all I just need to do is I'll just drag it out. All I need to do is to do what? To select it and what? And drag it out. So if I want to work on any mobile design, I'll just go and be dragging it out, dragging it out. Do you understand? So let me drag it out again. Let me do it again. After creating your component, you come to your asset here. You see what you've created here. You click on it and just drag it out. So that's that. So now I want to have a variant of it, which for my, what's it called, over state and disabled state. Do you understand? But first and foremost, okay, let me create. You come back here. You see add variant. Can you see add variant at the top of my property channel? Property panel. Sorry. Add. Once you click on add variant, a variant has been created. A variant of this as what has been created. Do you understand? So this will be my what. So all I just need to do is what. You can see that is let me just rename this first. Let me go back to rename this. Let me call this button. Yeah, let me call it state, and this one is what? The active state. Active state. Then I come to the variant here. I change it to over state. Over. So all I just need for the over is what? Is to let me reduce the opacity to maybe 50. Yeah. So I create what? Hope you can see, hope you are following me. All right. So I can add variant here too. Add variant. So add variant. I come here to put my disabled state here. Disabled. So my disabled can have Can I change the color? All right, so we now have a variant of what of our buttons here now. So let me say I want to change the text. So I want to select the text. I want to create a text properties of my button. Select the three texts. Or first, let me change the appearance to set my apply variable property. If you come to the appearance on this property panel, you see beside the I icon, you see the apply variable property. Can you see it? You click on it, then you click on the plus button, new variable property, click on it, that is show text, then rename it to show text. So the default state is to show. The default state is to show. You understand? Then you create what? Create property. So it has been created. So if you click on this one that we dragged out now, you know this one is the one we dragged out. You understand? So if you click on it, you see that on your right panel, you see that showing text. You can see showing text. I hope we are together. It's important to know this one. All right. So now we want to show a button having what? Having an icon. So all we need to do is let me import maybe 2 to 3 icons for my submit button. All I need to do is let me go to my plugin on the file. All right. And this one arrow button here. Another one is, let me look for another one. Okay, let me pick another one too. Another one. Three. So I've imported this thing, put them together. Let me change the color. So what? So white. Let me see the sizes. $24. So now all I just need to do, I want to create a component for these 3 icons. So just come here, just create what? Create components. Create components. Create components. So I have it in my library like that. So all I just need to do is bring this one in, bring this one in. It's not recognizing this. It's not recognizing this. Yeah. Okay. Why is it not recognizing? It's not. Let me bring another one there. Let's shorten it. Um, um, okay. Let's- Well, I don't know why it's not recognizing this frame. Why are you not recognizing this one there? Hmm? All right, let me just start this one. Where is that? Mm, a big 70, 72, 16. I'm trying to include the system medium create components. Then I create a variant. Active state. State. And it is good. Okay. All right. So our text property. Next. Set it as true or false. They will do same for our icon too. Our icon too. Create say show icon. Show icon. So it will be false. The default state, the default value will be false. So we create property. So we are saying that once you drag it here like this, the default state should be what? Should be without the icon. So when what you use, you can now set it show icon. Do you get that now? So if you want to change this one from over for change the state of this, or you just need to come here, just set it over this thing or show what disable states. Do you understand? So that's how we what create component. That's how we create components. So that's how we create what? We create our reusable component. So I think I've saved, I think I saved, okay. Okay, you can see the icons I've saved here. So that's for, so you just need to do, just bring it out. Where is the state again? And just show. I hope you're all getting it. Is anyone confused?
It is looking blurry, but to watch the video to understand Masha.
Let it look blurry. All right, so let me create an instance for this. So I want to create an instance for this. Create an instance. So in the case where I want to change the color, I said change color. They change the icon of this. So let me just say. Just use this. Yeah. Then I create property. So I come here. You can see that the icons are changing now. So that's that for creating buttons. So if I want to create a frame now, let me say a frame now. Let me say a frame now. Let me use a frame. Yeah. So, and I want to, after everything, I want to change my, all I just need to come here, drag my button. Come here, just drag it. You can see. Just drag it. So I don't need to start creating this thing. Are we together now? So if it's a model to I want to change to, if it's a model I want to this thing, I can just design a model. Design a model. Let me design a model. Here, create a frame. You create a frame of the exact parent frame. the width of the parent frame is 390. So the width of my model must be what? 390. Yeah. So, and I want to give it, I just need the what's it called? The edges should be 20, 20. Or let's do 40. Yeah. These are I want the model to. This is what I want. How I want the model to look like. So create frame. And I add my text there. So you go to your title, the title of the model. Is 24. Do 24 or 32. And I have my, let me see, my close button here. Close. The close should be 14. Auto layout. Just add stroke, a white stroke. Then reduce my width, my stroke width to 0.3. Corner radius 8. Increase give it 12. 16. Yeah. Then adjust it to what? 32. Then I put this in auto layout so they can align. So now I have my model here. So I'll just create it as, let me rename it model. And I'll create it, I'll use as a component so I can be reusable. With what? Create components. So if I want to use my model for my this, all I just need to do is place a rectangle this thing here of the same width and the word height. Then add change it to 000 black to reduce the opacity to 40. Then I'll bring in my this thing here, my model. If I don't want to bring this one here, I'll just drag this one here from here. This is a model for what? For a mobile screen. Are we together now? All right. So that's for so let's say I want to use this for probably a web, this model for web. All I just need to do is create my, come here, look for my web frame. Let's use desktop. So in case you did not do this overlay, this is what we call overlay. What the rectangle I drew, this thing is called overlay. Sometimes if you don't do it manually, when you are prototyping, you can still do it. So once you are prototyping a screen, it will ask you overlay or what. Do you understand? So it will just put it there. Do you understand? So, but for web page, we have a content. Let's say this is your landing page or your hero section, and you want to create, I want to add a modal. All you just need to do is what? Add a rectangle of the same distance. Add a rectangle of the same width and height. Then reduce the opacity. Understand? Then I drag my words. My modal. Then place it. That's a modal for what? For a web. This is a modal for what? A modal for mobile. Are we together? All right. So I think our time is fast spent. Any questions? So how do you source for file for your design? Probably you are looking for, I've told you how to get plugins, and probably some people are still finding it out to upload something on their Figma. Do you understand? So if you want to upload something on your Figma, all you just need to do is come here. You see image or video, click on it. It will take you to your library file, or you just press Ctrl+Shift+A, Ctrl+Shift+K for Windows, or Command+Shift+K for Mac. You understand? It takes you to library. You click on whatever you want to click. Once you click on it, either you double click on it or you click one time and press open. You will see that it will show that something is ready to be uploaded. All you just need to do is what? Drop it. Drop it there. Do you understand? Then you do whatever adjustment you want to do, depending on your preference. Do you understand? And if you want to save something on Figma, once you click on this frame, probably you've done a work and you want to showcase it to the whole world. Or let me say this mobile screen. Let me rename it mobile. Mobile screen. Select it. Come to this your property channel panel on your right. You will see export. You see export at the bottom level. Just click on it. You will see, you can even preview it. Do you understand? If you preview something like this, whatever that is not on the panel will not show here. Whatever that is not, that you feel is here, is what will show here. Whatever is here, you show here. So if the frame doesn't recognize your element, that doesn't recognize your element, it will not show here. So if you've been working on something, you feel like it's working, you're not gonna export without seeing it, previewing it here, or previewing it on your Figma mirror. You just export an empty this thing. You understand? So you just see it here, and again you see. And if you want to export, make sure you set it as 3 what x, so it can be sharp. If you put it at 1 or 2, it will be kind of blurry. And don't go beyond 3 because it will be heavy. Do you understand? So just set it as 3. Export mobile screen. Click export. It goes to your library. It tells you to save. Do you understand? And you save. And if you want to import it, you can import it back by simply pressing Ctrl Shift K. Then you select it on your library. Either you double click or you click once. You see it comes here. It appears here. Olayinka to for me. I can hear you. So you just export and you have it here. Then you do any magic you want to do going forward. So this is now a JPEG. You understand? You can also import. We have different this thing you can import. This PNG, you have JPEG, you can export as what? SVG or PDF. You understand? So Figma gives you that room to export as PDF, SVG, JPEG, or PNG. You understand? So that's that. So for me, like you have the floor. You want to ask a question?
No, I don't have questions. It's just that the class is some kind of confusing, but hopefully, if you watch the video again, you'll get
I was saying it earlier that you see this word, you just have to pay attention because you just have to pay attention, sincerely speaking. In fact, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning because we'll still learn how to create styles, style guide, typography, design system for your products. So you have to start moving on. So if you want to source for pictures and everything, there are sites whereby you can search for pictures: Google, Pinterest, Freepik. Freepik is a very nice site to see illustrations, pictures, photos, and the likes. So just save it on your device. Ctrl Shift K, import it here. You can remove the background using icons 8 to remove your background, or remove BG. Or you go to the remove BG as a way, the plugin as a way, or you can use icon 8 plugin to remove background, or you go to removebg.com on your web to remove the background and start doing it here. So just add your way and just explore. Any question? Any question?
I don't. So I don't really have any question. Maybe when we practice what we've learned, shall we can now give questions.
Okay. All right. So your assessment for the for lesson 1 to lesson 3 will be open tomorrow, and it will only last for from Saturday to Sunday. So once it's uploaded, you'll be notified. Go there, take your assessment, and also an assignment to be given to. You understand? So do you know what a hero section means? A hero section of a website. Anyone? Hero section of a website.
Hero section has to do with like this. It's more like at the elder part of a website.
Okay. All right. So hero section is the first section you will see on a website. So once you go on the section at the top, you understand, you see the hero section. So let me show you an example of hero section. Let me quickly see. Let's see. Okay, let me see. All right, this is a hero section here. This part is a what? Hero section. Are we together? Can you see it? This part is what? The hero section. Do you understand? So that's an hero section. So the assignment is replicate the hero section of Dive Africa website. Replicate. I said replicate. Emphasis on replicate. I'm sure you all have access to the website. Replicate the hero section of Dive Africa website. So it should be uploaded on the listing. So the deadline is next. The deadline is on. What should be the deadline? Class reps, the two class reps. Let me hear from you. Please, the
Next
two
week
class
Thursday,
reps.
sir.
Next week Thursday.
Next week Thursday.
Okay. Is Wisdom on this call? Is Wisdom on this call? Okay, I guess not. So
No, I think he left. He left.
all right. So next week Thursday, you're listening. So make sure don't when you also design, don't do it on the same file. Do it on the same file. You understand? Just do it on the same file. So you submit your link, and I realize that some people are sending the wrong link. Please don't send the wrong link. Just share. And some people don't give me access. They share a link and don't give me access to view. I started asking for a beg, let me see, let me view it. You understand? So please, you don't need to open a new file. Just you can open a new page, just like this. Come to the plus sign here, or just have a page dedicated to assignments. Just have a page dedicated for what? Assignments. Do you get that now? So you don't need to waste your file or pages or something like that. So once again, your assessment will be uploaded tomorrow. You'll see it tomorrow morning, and to be only opened for tomorrow and Sunday. So do your assessment once it's been uploaded. They are just simple questions from lesson 1 to lesson 3. Do you understand? And your assignment too. So has anyone gotten a problem statement for his or her personal project? Mobile application, basically. Mobile application, basically. Adewale, you wanted to talk?
Yeah, I don't quite understand what you meant.
Okay, I said it yesterday that you should start brainstorming on a real world problem that you can provide solution to. So you start working on your personal project, a mobile application. So you start conducting, doing your user research. So that's that. Any further question before we call it a wrap tonight? Okay. All right. So see you next week, and I look forward to your assignments and assessments. Thank you.